Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News at 4.
On your local news at 4, in a murder case involving an Horry County employee, new details on where police found the victim's body. Plus, with the nasty weather, an 18-wheeler has plunged off the Waccamaw River Bridge in Conway. This is new video at 4. We have an update for you along with a live look from the scene. Thanks for joining us. I'm Myrtle Beach. First this afternoon, though, that heavy rain causing issues all across the Carolinas. Here's some video from Charlotte. See how high up the floodwaters are on those cars there. Scary stuff. Our First Alert weather team says we're in for at least a few more hours of these downpours. Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold starting us off this afternoon with a look at the radar and his certified most accurate forecast. Jamie.
And Meredith, an absolute washout of a Thursday. We've seen those pockets of heavy rain, some areas picking up an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain just today. And notice it does continue across most of the area right now, although finally starting to wind down once you get north and west of I-95. Across the beaches, though, it is wet as we get ready to head into the evening commute. Some of the heaviest rain continues to fall here across the north end of the Grand Strand, Longs to Little River, North Myrtle Beach, Atlantic Beach, down to Grand Dunes, dealing with that steady, moderate to at times heavy rain. Couple of heavier downpours continuing here across Ocean Lakes over towards Surfside Beach and Garden City. 501, no doubt slow going with that steady light to moderate rain coming down right now. Parts of Robeson County have seen up to 10 inches of rain over the past 48 hours. The heavier rain continues in those areas right now where we have seen a couple of roads being washed out. Lumberton dealing with the heavier rain. Same thing for Fairmont down towards the Roland area. Dillon, Sellers, and Latta picking up heavy rain, and that rain heavy especially once you get south and east of Florence, Danwood, Coward, and Lake City picking up that heavy rain right now. But again, improving once you get over towards Lamar, Darlington, as well as Hartsville. And it's a complicated setup out there this evening. We've got what is left of Tropical Storm Ada helping to pump moisture into the area as it works its way offshore. At the same time, we've also got a cold front draped right on top of us. Both of those keep that rain going as we head through about midnight. But then finally some improvements for tomorrow. Your full forecast coming up.
We continue to follow breaking news following a serious crash in Conway. Here's a live look at traffic along a portion of Highway 501. This is after an 18-wheeler went over the guardrail of the Waccamaw River Memorial Bridge. This is along Lake Busby. Ian Klein is live from the scene now. Ian, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Meredith, we are just off of the northbound lane, kind of heading into Conway right now off of 501. You can see it's been pushed down into one lane as you head over the Busby Bridge. Right up there is where crews are currently working, where the 18-wheeler had actually fallen off, ripping out the guardrail. I think right now they're trying to figure out how to secure that guardrail throughout the evening and also how to get that 18-wheeler out. We actually have some video of what it looks like much closer to the scene. Our photog John was able to walk up and was even asking the question, how are you guys planning to get that out? That kind of the crews right now trying to figure that out. If you are on here heading this way into Conway, I would use alternate routes if you can, like 701 or 22. And also if you have any people that might be coming into the beach, also tell them they are going to have to have those different routes they're going to have to watch. So we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the evening as traffic's moving very slowly here, but is moving inches at a time. Reporting live in Horry County, Ian Klein, WMBF News.
All right, stay safe out there, Ian, and dry. Some good news just in. A family reported missing out of Marion County has been found safe. The Marion County Sheriff's Office reported the 4 missing children Tuesday. While details on where they were found and how have not been released, officials thanked the community for their help to bring them to safety. WMBF News will update you if new information is released. An update now on a story many of you are following closely. The 2 people charged with murder in connection to the death of a missing man were supposed to appear in court today, but they weren't there. Patrick Lloyd joins us live in the studio now to tell us why. Patrick?
Yeah, Meredith, it's actually common in cases involving a murder charge for the defendant to waive their right to a bond hearing. The judge they were supposed to go before today wouldn't be able to choose whether bond is set since the judge is a magistrate court judge. In South Carolina, only circuit court judges can set bond on murder charges. So regardless of whether the bond hearing actually happened today, both Chris Dontel, the former Horry County deputy coroner, and Megan Jackson would have stayed in jail anyway. We also learned new details on the case today from the Horry County Police Department. A spokesperson for the department says the victim, Greg Rice's body, was found in an area near the Little Petey Deputy River by Pitt's Landing. That's right by Highway 378 at the Horry-Marion County line. Now, some of you reached out to WMBF News regarding Megan Jackson's employment. An HCPD spokesperson says Jackson never worked for the county, while Dontel was a deputy coroner. Today, police did confirm what we learned yesterday from the victim's brother, that Jackson is the mother of Rice's kids. Live in studio, Patrick Lloyd, WMBF News.
Authorities are now searching for an armed robbery suspect who they say managed to slip out of his handcuffs and steal a patrol car. Samuel Robinson is wanted by the Georgetown Police Department for robbing a Walmart this past Sunday. The Georgetown County Sheriff's Office says Robinson was handcuffed and put in the back of a deputy's Chevy Tahoe near Lint and Tallow Tree Roads following a traffic stop in the Andrews area. That's when authorities say Robinson worked his way out of the cuffs and climbed into the front seat, then drove away. A deputy's vehicle was found about an hour later with all of the equipment still inside. Robinson, though, is still wanted. If you have any idea where he could be, you're urged to give authorities a call. A man wanted in connection with the armed robbery of a Walgreens in Florence is now in custody. Shatik James was booked into the Florence County Detention Center on charges of armed robbery, criminal conspiracy, and 2 counts of kidnapping. Police say back on September 2nd, James and another unidentified suspect entered the Walgreens store on South Irby Street and went behind the counter. One of the suspects is accused of pulling out a gun and demanding money from the register. No one was hurt, and no bond has been set on James's charges. DHEC has released the latest update for coronavirus numbers in our state. Officials say there are 1,243 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in South Carolina. That brings the total number of cases since the pandemic began to nearly 180,000. 69 of those new cases are in Horry County, while Florence County has 30 and Georgetown County has 10 new cases. 14.4% of the more than 8,600 test results today are positive. DHEC also says 8 more people have died from COVID-19 in our state. That includes 1 death each in Darlington, Dillon, and Marion counties. 3,817 people have now lost their lives to the virus in South Carolina. The South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce released the newest unemployment numbers in South Carolina. Officials say last week 3,627 people filed their first unemployment claim. That's an increase of 229 from the week before. Also last week, nearly $38 million in state and federal unemployment benefits were paid out. Since the pandemic began in March, the SCDEW has paid out more than $4.5 billion in benefits. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster says the state's unemployment insurance tax rates will not go up next year. The governor says the tax rates will remain either the same or decrease in 2021. He says $920 million of the nearly $2 billion provided by the CARES Act will help the state afford to freeze tax rates next year. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette also weighed in on how the state handled businesses during this pandemic. She told Talk 94.5 that a more focused approach was more appropriate for South Carolina rather than a blanket shutdown of businesses.
That's why, he did not come up with that list. We did a very targeted, focused list of what should be open, what we had to, touch the brakes on to try to get a hold of what to do, right? Mm-hmm. His whole strategy wasn't to close anything down, but was to kind of say, all right, we have to group. We got to figure out how we, first and foremost, don't overrun our hospitals. And that's what we did during that time.
You can hear more from Lieutenant Governor's interview about the state's COVID-19 response throughout the evening right here on WMBF News. Tidelands Health is once again adjusting the visitation policy for its hospitals as COVID-19 cases spike. Effective today, the health system will allow each hospitalized patient 1 support partner. They must be 18 or older. Visiting hours are now between 8 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. Tidelands also says all support partners will be screened at the door. Everyone must wear a face mask, and there will also be a temperature check. No one with a temperature above 100 degrees is allowed inside. Support partners will not be allowed to visit patients in COVID-19 isolation or in critical care. It's Inauguration Day in the city of Florence as Mayor-elect Teresa Myers-Irvin will become the first new mayor in over a decade. WMBF News reporter Cameron Crowe is live in Florence to talk about the inauguration and what it means for the city. Cameron.
Yeah, Meredith. Mayor Stephen Wakila has held the role since 2008, but tonight the torch will be passed to Mayor-elect Teresa Myers-Irvin. Myers-Irvin has served as District 1 councilwoman since 2010 and has worked closely with Wakila in many key projects, including the revitalization of downtown Florence. She says they've learned a lot from one another over the years, and she plans to use him as a resource in the future. Myers-Irvin's election as mayor was historic as she became the first woman and African American to be elected to the office. As she steps into her new role, she does so with two new members on City Council, Shaquez McCall and Lithonia Peaches Barnes. Myers-Irvin says she looks forward to working with the new council members and the rest of the city leaders going forward.
I need to work with these new members so they too can be successful in their role. By creating success with the council, I believe I will create success for our city.
The swearing-in ceremony will take place at 6 this evening, and you can find it on our website at WMBFnews.com or on our Facebook page. Reporting live in Florence, I'm Cameron Crowe, WMBF News.
A potential vaccine for COVID-19 could soon be available, but effectively distributing the treatment to those who need it could pose a daunting challenge. We have that story in just 3 minutes. And that rain continues to come down this afternoon. It has been a rainy day. Jamie Arnold has a look at when we could start drying up, coming up in his full first alert forecast. A promising coronavirus vaccine from the drug makers Pfizer and BioNTech is in advanced trials and could be available to some in just a matter of weeks. But the treatment must be stored at extremely cold temperatures, causing some concern about the logistics surrounding its distribution. Anna Stewart reports.
We are in a very, very good situation to have 1.3 billion doses globally again next year.
Millions of doses have already been made, ready to go should the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine candidate get regulatory approval. This one uses messenger RNA, a new technology which poses a major challenge for storage and transportation of the vaccine.
We have to keep the product very cold and shipped in very much sub-freezing temperatures. Then there will be a short term of stability, perhaps at refrigerated temperatures, and that's going to be a logistical challenge.
Logistics firms like UPS, FedEx and Deutsche Post DHL started planning for this months ago.
We have about 9,000 healthcare specialists around the globe, about 140 certified warehouses around the globe, about another 100 terminals that are certified for healthcare. We also had to make some specific investments in -80 degrees storage points and containers to be able to distribute. So those are all things that we had to do.
These firms are a critical link between the pharmaceutical firms and governments.
What we have to focus on is our interaction with our customers. When they say that we need to be ready, we're working and we're planning accordingly to that, and we will be ready.
Logistics firms may be ready to transport a COVID-19 vaccine. Some countries may not be ready to receive it.
This challenge is probably the biggest logistical challenge we've ever faced, regardless of the temperature. -80 adds another dynamic and another problem. I'm being told that this vaccine isn't really designed and being expected to be used in low and middle income countries. That personally concerns me because we should be making sure that we deliver the vaccine equitably.
Other promising COVID-19 vaccine candidates are nearing the end of phase 3 trials, and they won't all need sub-zero storage. They will, however, all need huge logistical support to make it to all the corners of the world. Anna Stewart, CNN, London.
Now, the certified most accurate forecast from First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold.
Well, a miserable Thursday afternoon underway as periods of heavy rain continue, and we're kind of throwing into the mix some gusty winds that have developed over the last hour, especially here across the beaches. Those winds at times 25 to 30 miles per hour. Combine that with the rain, and yeah, you get the idea. It is certainly a nasty afternoon, although we are starting to see some subtle signs of improvement. Notice the steadiest and heaviest rain now beginning to shift its way into eastern North Carolina, beginning to shift its way offshore. So the flood threat, while still high, is gradually going to start going down as we head this evening. Also notice once you get west of I-95, that rainfall is quickly shutting down. But as we head closer towards the coast, we've got a couple more hours of rain, and some of that rain will be heavy at times. As we put everything into motion, you can see still plenty of wet weather down across the low country, and all of that will continue to sort of filter its way back into our area as we work our way through the rest of the evening. Look at some of these rainfall totals, though, here across most of our area. 3 to 5, locally as much as 6 inches of rain. But look at this. You get close to Lumberton up towards Fayetteville and Raleigh. We're talking 8 to 10 inches of rain there. And of course, that's not good news for our rivers because a lot of that water starts to head south. So let's get you caught up on the rivers right now. Waccamaw sitting at 9.7 now, flood stage 11 feet, forecast to get just above flood stage by the weekend. Lumber River in Lumberton already just above flood stage, forecast to crest at 16 feet. And for the Lumber River at Nichols, rising at a pretty good clip. Flood stage is 20 feet. We'll crest just above that. Black Creek at Quinby, we'll see that cresting quite high, especially as we head towards tomorrow into Saturday. But let's talk about the improving trend. There's that rain that continues off and on, especially near the beaches through about dinner time this evening. But there's that improving trend as we head towards daybreak on Friday. Still cloudy, could be a little mist and drizzle with temperatures into the 60s. But check this out, lunchtime. Sunshine begins to come back, and as we head towards tomorrow afternoon, plenty of sunshine and temperatures into the low 70s.
With 29 named storms this hurricane season, 12 made landfall here in the U.S., breaking the record of 9 set way back in 1916. As Wendy Woolfolk reports, the long-lived Ada made its second landfall in Florida this week.
Overnight, Ada arrives again, making landfall this time on Florida's west coast as a tropical storm with powerful wind and rain.
It's just about Thanksgiving and we're still dealing with the hurricane.
The daylight reveals the path of destruction with boats tossed on beaches and debris littering seaside highways. While some flooded streets have become rivers, Floridians taking the storm in stride.
This is kind of Florida normal for us.
But nothing normal about Ada's path. Thursday's landfall was the storm's 4th overall. First visiting Nicaragua, winding across the Caribbean to Cuba, into the Florida Keys Sunday, then twisting again just north of Tampa. And Ada not finished yet, pummeling Tybee Island, Georgia, with driving rain as it pushes up the east coast. Flash flooding caused swollen rivers in North Carolina to carry away everything on their banks. In Charlotte, it's difficult to make out this school parking lot with high water reaching car rooftops. Forecasters predict Ada to move quickly off into the Atlantic with a little more than 2 weeks left in a record-breaking hurricane season. Wendy Woolfolk, NBC News.
The next holiday up, Thanksgiving, just 14 days away. How to celebrate the holiday safely in a year unlike any other. That's ahead on your only local news at 4. Thanksgiving is now just 2 weeks away. Can't believe it. Liz McLaughlin has a few tips to keep in mind for a delicious, safe, and probably smaller holiday meal.
It's a holiday nicknamed Turkey Day for a reason. But this year may not be all about the bird.
I'm not cooking a turkey, but I'm going to make some prime rib.
Many are mixing up the main meal as families scale down or skip traditional gatherings.
This is the year of the side.
Food and dining website Eater says comfort dishes like mac and cheese or mashed potatoes will get more of the spotlight this year. And they're seeing a surge in searches for Thanksgiving takeout.
Thanksgiving is a great time to support restaurants that really need your help.
Restaurants struggling to make ends meet through pandemic restrictions are hoping to bring in business with offerings like individual holiday plates, meal kits, and even creative dishes such as Thanksgiving pizza.
You can mix and match from various places and just have fun with it.
If you're not cooking, you'll want to get a pre-order in ASAP. And whatever you decide to eat, medical experts stress safety in doing so.
Each family is going to have to make a risk assessment.
If you're seeing family in person, now is the time to start quarantining. Keeping the celebrations outside can also make a gathering safer.
Oh, wow.
Or skip the in-person meal and share dinner virtually over a video call.
What we need to do is just buckle in, do the hard thing, which admittedly is not what anybody wants to hear right now, which is not go home for Thanksgiving.
But tweaking holiday traditions this year may improve the chances of resuming them in 2021. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
An AFC battle this Sunday night on WMBF as the New England Patriots welcome the Baltimore Ravens to Foxborough. Football night, an American team of Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy previews the game.
Sunday Night Football in Foxborough. The Ravens come to visit the Patriots. Here we're at the halfway point. The Ravens are 6-2. You're starting to see things come together a little bit for them?
You really are. They played well, stumbled a little bit against Pittsburgh, but, Lamar Jackson, they're winning games without dominating in the running game, and that's good news for the Ravens.
That's the way they did it, and they did it on Sunday against the Colts. Meantime, for the Patriots, Tony, it kind of feels like a last stand in the AFC East.
I think it is. Miami's playing better. Buffalo, big win last week. Patriots can't afford to lose any more ground. It is a must-win game if they want to be a playoff team.
We've seen these teams together on the big stage of the postseason. We'll see them on the big stage of Sunday Night Football. Baltimore at New England. Football night in America. Get your start at 7 Eastern time.
Well, rain continues out there this afternoon. Still heavy at times, and still watching Ada. Believe it or not, passes about 65 miles east of the Grand Strand overnight tonight. Once that heads off to the northeast, our rain starts to shut down, and an improving forecast for the weekend. Your full forecast coming up at 4:30.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News at 4:30.
It's 4:30. Thanks for being here. I'm Meredith Headline. First this afternoon, we're continuing to see more flooding caused by these heavy downpours across the Carolinas. Here are several of the extreme videos coming out of our sister station in Charlotte, from flooded campgrounds to submerged cars to emergency water rescues. It's been a scary day. We want to send things straight over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold. He has his eye on this radar and a look at what we can expect here at home. Jamie.
Well, still a lot more rain to go, but we can finally start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Already starting to see a bit of a drying trend here once you get back across the PD. Hartsville, Darlington, Bennettsville, a couple of sprinkles, a little bit of drizzle, but the steady and heavy rain is over with. Not the case, though, as you work your way back into the beaches. In fact, the intensity of that rainfall starting to pick up again here from North Myrtle Beach through Atlantic Beach, Grand Dunes, down past Broadway into Myrtle Beach, the Market Common, the airport, down to Garden City. You get the idea here. Steady and at times heavy rain coming down, and we're even throwing in some gusty winds, 25 to 30 miles per hour. That's certainly going to make for slow going if you have to head out and about this evening. Taking you a little bit further inland, Robeson County into Dillon County have been hard hit the past 2 days. Some spots of Robeson County, 8 to 10 inches of rainfall over the last 48 hours. We've had some road washouts in here, but starting to see some improvement from Lumberton to McDonald over towards Roland. East of I-95, though, still some heavier rain continuing, especially now south of Dillon, Sellers, Latta, Nichols, Mullins, Greensea, all picking up some of that heavier rain. Starting to see the improvements, though, here in Florence, but notice Marion down to Pamplico, Coward, and Lake City still dealing with some pockets of heavy rain, and we still have plenty of rain down to our south, gradually going to spread its way to the north, keeping us wet through about midnight, but then big improvements do finally move in. Your certified most accurate forecast just a few minutes away.
And as we mentioned, that heavy rain is just wreaking havoc today on some parts of North Carolina. This is video from West Charlotte where cars had to be abandoned. You see it there on your screen. Drivers even had to be rescued after this severe flooding. Charlotte Fire reported more than 100 flood incidents. It has reported those since 7:30 this morning. Take a listen to one of the car owners explaining what happened when he realized his car was underwater.
Freaked out. I was like, well, that's not good. Like, got up, grabbed my keys, my phone, and sprinted down here. And the water was all the way up to where you can see basically right where the rubble is.
All right, take a look at this. The heavy rain also caused a mudslide. This is in Burke County, North Carolina. That mudslide inundated several roads and caused long detours for many people. In another part of the state, 2 people have been killed as floodwaters overtook a campground in Alexander County. Right now, several people do remain missing. We'll be sure to keep you updated. Here at home, though, officials in Conway are urging people to protect themselves from potential flooding. They urge anyone in the area to not try and drive through floodwaters. Make sure to obey all barricades put in place. If your home is in danger of flash flooding, it's important to have an evacuation plan just in case. We do continue to follow breaking news out of Conway. A northbound lane of Highway 501 remains blocked at Lake Busby. This is after an 18-wheeler plunged off the side of the bridge earlier this afternoon. WMBF News reporter Ian Klein joins us live near the base of the bridge. Ian, are there any updates on the process to remove this truck from under the bridge since we last spoke?
Meredith, I don't think that truck's going anywhere anytime soon, especially the fact that it's kind of wedged back in this marshy swamp area. That's kind of what the crews are trying to do right now. They're also trying to secure the concrete barricade that the truck just barreled through. Now, right now, you have traffic on the northbound lanes of 501 that are merging into one lane, which stretch all the way back to 544 all the way down towards CCU. Even for me, when I was trying to get to the scene, I cut through 544 over about down the light, probably maybe what would normally be a 1 to 2 minute drive. It took about 15 to 20 minutes just to get from the 544 light over to here at the end of the bridge. Now you got to remember, we also have to get people over the bridge, so traffic moving very slow. And as we start to get into that 5 o'clock hour, as people start to get off work, I'd imagine these delays are going to continue. So if you are traveling this way, try to take alternate routes, probably 22, 701 if you can. But if you are on 501, you're going to be expecting delays as we go through the night and as it starts getting darker, the rain not adding any help to this already messy situation here on the roads. Reporting live in Horry County, Ian Klein, WMBF News.
The cousin of a man who lost his life in a deadly Myrtle Beach shooting is working to make sure the holidays be merry and bright for kids in the Myrtle Beach area. WMBF News reporter Catherine Phillips has more on how a toy drive is keeping his legacy alive.
Exactly 1 month ago, Darius Hemingway lost his life after a shooting at the Allen's Food Basket in Myrtle Beach. In the days to follow, we would learn that he had organized a toy drive last year and he had plans to do it again. So this year, his cousin is taking over to make sure toys can still get delivered to kids here in Myrtle Beach. Starting soon at certain businesses across the Myrtle Beach area, toy collection boxes will be ready to collect toys for kids in need. Hemingway's cousin Jalen Wright is organizing the event after helping with it last year. One of those businesses involved is Big Mike's Soul Food off of Kings Highway. Owner and city council member Mike Chestnut is from the same neighborhood as Hemingway. He says he knew he wanted to participate when he heard about what happened. He adds he hopes this reminds the community there is still good out there.
Actually, I'm a product of Race Path also. I was born and raised in Race Path, and I knew Darius, and just a super nice kid. I knew him all his life since he was born, and I was just impressed with him as a young kid wanting to give back to the community.
The Mary C. Canty Recreation Center is one of the many drop-off locations for the toy drive. The toys will be given out at the Race Path Community Park on December 19th at 2 in the afternoon. Reporting in Myrtle Beach, Catherine Phillips, WMBF News.
We shared a list of the drop-off locations on this story on WMBFnews.com. You can find it on the live links page. For those of you interested in receiving a gift from the toy drive, we also shared the organizer's email address. Just contact them for an application. One World II veteran is happy after reaching a goal he thought was long lost decades ago. You don't want to miss this story in just 3 minutes. And don't forget, you can help rescue Christmas this holiday season for families in need. Just head to our website, WMBFnews.com. That's where you'll see all the ways you can pitch in this year. Again, that's WMBFnews.com. Just click on the Operation Rescue Christmas tab on the home screen. Turning right now, a World War II veteran is getting his high school diploma after decades. Milton Massatini enlisted in the war and never got the chance to finish school. But thanks to a new effort by one group in California, he and several others have finally become high school graduates. Caitlin Conrad shares the story.
93-year-old Milton Massatini has lived a full life, but it took until 2020 for the veteran to get his high school diploma. The Navy Seaman First Class joined up at his first opportunity to serve his country in World War II and never got the chance to finish high school.
I lied about my age. I was 16 and I said I was 17. And I got on an oiler and I was overseas in the Pacific.
When Massatini came home from the war, he started working, first in Salinas Valley Agriculture and then on to Pacific Gas and Electric for 40 years. He married his wife, Wanda. 67 years later, they're still married and raised 4 children. But he never got his diploma, and he never thought he would until this year.
I didn't finish high school, but I heard about, 6 months ago or more, I went and they told me I'd get my diploma.
In December of 2019, Monterey County Office of Education launched Operation Recognition, a veterans diploma project. Partnering with the Veterans Transition Center, they set out to find veterans in Monterey County who were not able to finish high school because they were serving our country.
Even though they really wanted to complete their educational pathway, the desire to serve their country at a time when their country so badly needed their service became their priority. But they never gave up.
Superintendent of Schools Dr. Deneen Gus says it was an honor to meet each of the 5 veterans, ranging in age from 73 to 95, and award them their diplomas.
I handed that diploma to each and every veteran. Many of them just went to tears. They literally cried, and your heart is just so touched because you realize how much earning that high school diploma meant to them.
Massatini says he wasn't overly excited, but he was proud. Very proud to be recognized after all of these years.
Finally proud that I got a diploma. I used to get, called a dumb jerk that he didn't get a diploma. But no, I was proud of it.
Well, wet and windy here this evening. Some pockets of heavy rain continuing, especially across the beaches, along with those gusty breezes. Things do finally improve, though, for Friday into the weekend. Your certified most accurate forecast is next.
Now, the certified most accurate forecast from First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold.
Well, winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour across the beaches this evening, along with that heavy rain, definitely making for a nasty night here all across the area. And that rain still coming down heavy at times. Notice a lot of yellow showing up here across the beaches. That's that moderate to at times heavy rain. Although the good news is the worst of it has shifted its way offshore, but we've still got another strip of heavy rain to get through here from Florence County, Marion County, into Dillon County, where we've seen some of those flooding problems today extending up into Robeson County. And there's plenty more moisture down to our south, believe it or not, associated with Ada, that's going to pass about 60 miles offshore right around midnight tonight, but still helping to pump plenty of tropical moisture into our area. And look at the widespread reports of flooding, especially just off to our north. There's those flooding reports we've been dealing with today across Robeson County, including a few road washouts there, especially once you get up north of Lumberton, Barker 10 Mile over towards St. Paul's. Been dealing with some of those big issues today. But let's talk about the improving trend with future radar. Here we are right now. We've got the rain in place that continues through dinner time tonight. By around midnight tonight, though, there goes Ada, finally passing off to the northeast. We start to wrap into some drier air by the time we head towards sunrise on Friday. So cloudy tomorrow morning, but a lot drier than this morning. And even those clouds begin to break up by lunchtime tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. And notice 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we're back into sunshine, much lower humidity, and a much needed drying trend. So your Myrtle Beach 7-day forecast, keeping that 20% chance in there for tomorrow. That's primarily right around sunrise for a little bit of drizzle and temperatures into the 60s. But notice sunshine and 70s heading towards tomorrow afternoon. Nice cool down for Saturday, upper 60s, a beautiful day to spend some time outside. A brief warm up into the 70s, maybe a sprinkle or light shower on Sunday, and then a nice stretch of fall weather settles in next week with cool days and chilly nights in the 40s. Florence into the PD, a wet evening for you, but improvements start tomorrow. Decent looking weekend with a sprinkle or shower possible Sunday, then clear, dry, and much cooler heading into next week.
We've all spent part of this pandemic trying to find new, unique ways to entertain ourselves. For some, it helped them discover a creative side they didn't know they had before. One 9-year-old boy in Colorado found a way to keep his hands busy and start his own business at the same time.
Sometimes I zone out and I just keep crocheting.
He's a very speedy crocheter. His hands are constantly moving, constantly going.
My name is Kai and I'm 9 years old and I really love crocheting.
Kai is one of the most thoughtful brothers you could ever imagine.
I think I've been crocheting for maybe 3 months or maybe 4.
I would say 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, I would say 4.
He decided to start making bumblebees.
I'm making a large bee, one of my people's orders right now.
He primarily makes them as gifts and little keepsakes for people.
My business is called Kai's Crochet Creations.
Kai has been running his business since probably August, when he sold his first bee at a garage sale for $1.
My teachers started, teachers at my school started ordering them. And it just got crazy because I got so many orders.
He's been super busy.
My mom makes the labels and my sister manages all my money.
I do get a cut. He offered me 1/4 of the profits.
So now I have to be crocheting 24/7.
I swear we don't lock him in the basement.
I think I'm the only one in my school that crochets.
He's a very self-motivated little man, and he's so passionate about it and so good at it. It's amazing.
Well, today is the day. Sony's much anticipated PlayStation 5 is now on sale. Sony says the PS5 processes data 100 times faster than that of its previous PlayStation, enabling smoother scene transitions on game screens. The controller even reenacts moves according to scenes, including vibrations and the feeling of being pushed and pulled by a character. Demand for game consoles have been on the rise as people stay at home more often amid the pandemic. The PS5, along with the Xbox Series X made by rival Microsoft, have been difficult to buy. Nintendo also says sales of its Switch console have increased by about 80% since last year. A drug normally prescribed for obsessive compulsive disorder and depression may also be able to prevent serious illness in COVID-19 patients. That's all according to a new study from the Washington University School of Medicine. That study looks at 152 different coronavirus patients, and after 15 days, none of the patients who received the OCD drug experienced serious symptoms. However, 8% of those who were given a placebo became seriously ill. That includes 4 patients who had to be hospitalized. The scientists say they plan to conduct a larger study next involving patients from across the country. This month is Family Literacy Month, and this year it's especially critical for parents, family members, and caregivers to share their love of reading with the kids in their lives. The pandemic may be negatively impacting the reading skills of kids, especially young readers at a critical time, kindergarten through 2nd grade. Sarah Dolph reports.
Lazy Beauty. Even during the pandemic, 9-year-old Lena doesn't skip a day of reading.
Once upon a time in a faraway land.
Her mom, Lamia, often by her side. They joined the Family Literacy Program at Philadelphia's Center for Literacy shortly after immigrating to the U.S.
Reading is the basis. When you know how to read, you will use it. You will use it all of their life.
A perfect pair this November, Family Literacy Month, when parents are encouraged to open a book with their kids.
This helps build habits and routines that enhances children's ability to read, as well as supports their literacy development.
A 2017 study found that 40% of 4th graders were reading at a proficient level, and the pandemic is threatening to further lower that rate. Researchers at Haskins Laboratories are studying the coronavirus slide, similar to the summer slide, when reading skills of young students regress due to time away from the classroom.
the expectation is really for potentially devastating impact on kids.
They're also testing remote reading games to see if they can offset losses, the project funded by the National Science Foundation.
We really want to answer this question. Can we, because we don't know what the future is going to be with regard to further shutdowns.
Parents and caregivers can help by encouraging daily reading and creating reading lists for individual kids.
They were good.
Learning to love reading together. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Eric Weisfeld. Here's a look at some of the stories we're working on for you, all new for your News at 5.
He was a good father. He was a very good father. And, I just thought a lot about the Greg that I knew, and it's very sad that the world lost him.
High school sweethearts, a 12-year marriage. Greg Rice's former wife reflects on the horrific end to his life and the void that now exists. Patrick Lloyd with that interview, all new at 5. 15 in the AP Top 25. Coastal Carolina University's football program's undefeated run has the team soaring. The athletic director speaks out on the high-ranking impacts off the field. That story's also all new at 5 for you. The deluge continues. When will we see an end to those non-stop downpours? Your certified most accurate First Alert forecast when Meredith joins me for WMBF News at 5.